So, this is where we left off just moments ago here. We built this framework, and now it's just time to add this first sequence. So, here's how we get started. You just double click this guy to open it on up, and now we have a blank page. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to tell Infusionsoft to do some stuff whenever this sequence is deployed. Now, the first thing I like to do is I like to apply a tag to someone immediately when they opt in. So, when this guy opts in to my list class web form, I want to apply a tag so I can go through Infusionsoft later and I can say, hey, show me all the people who opted in from this thing and let's email them some stuff, right? If I want to. So that's super easy. I'm going to double click here. We go on over to process, and where are your process? Oh, here it is right at the top. We click on apply remove tag. Just pop it right there. And now to tell it what tag to apply, we simply double click it. And we can select from an existing tag that we've already created. As you can tell, I've just got a gazillion of them in here. Or we can create one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this list class. And remember, I like to do everything categorically. So I created my category called list class. And then I'll just do my little arrow and I'll just call it opt in right there. So I'll say create that one and then boom. Save. Now, so immediately upon opting in, they're tagged. That means I can search for them. I can email just these dudes. I can do whatever I want with it, right? So that's pretty cool. It helps you keep everything organized, and it took like 10 seconds. So the next thing we want to do is we want to send them an email, right? So we don't want to wait because we're deploying this first little reminder series instantly. So we want to send them an email immediately. So in that case, we don't have to do anything except put an email here. Now, if we want to delay, we have to use a delay timer. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to call this reminder 1. All right. And then to edit this email, we simply double click it. And I'll give it a sec right here. Now, if you've already created a campaign, you're not going to have to do all of this pain in the butt stuff I'm about to show you. You only really have to do this on your first campaign. The only thing I don't like about Infusionsoft is they make us do this right here. They like to have the emails pretty looking. But you know what? Emails that look like normal plain old text work a lot better. So here's how we do this. First, we have to make this thing look normal. So we click on layout and style. We go over here to layout and we say pre-header off, header off, footer off, sidebars off, email alignment is left. And that's good. So now what we want to do is, you'll notice this is all gray over here and a white table in the middle, and that's kind of weird. So we go over to style and we just click on the one. Now I doubt you'll have one called Frank theme. So you just go and click on the one called simple. So we click on that guy and that's simple. So now we're cool, but we still have all this junk, right? So you just click the trash can right here to get rid of that thing. Click the trash can right here to get rid of this guy. And we're going to click the trash can right here to get rid of this guy. Now, when you set up Infusionsoft, you'll have your default canned spam stuff, just like mine, so you're not going to want to mess with that. But now, we got to put some stuff in here. We want to type, right? So, how do we do that? Well, you go over here to snippets, and we want to say that we're going to insert a paragraph. So, you just drag it right there. So now, all we got to do is just edit this text. You can see it's that weird-looking text. I'm just going to hit select all, and then we have no moss text. Whoop. So, what are we going to put there? Well, we can start typing if you want. Hey, check it out, right? We can do that if we want to. Or you can cut and paste and use the email reminder campaign swipe file that I gave you. So this guy is right here. And here's what I'm going to do. I am just going to copy this sucker right here. And get that out of the way. And I'm going to paste it in where that paragraph was. Now, you kind of have to position your mouse just right. Oh, here it is. Hey, check it out. So I will simply paste over that. Ta-da! Beautiful, right? Now, whenever you cut and paste stuff into Infusionsoft, it can end up looking weird. It kind of looks normal here, but I want to go ahead and do a little test. So the first thing I'm going to do before we edit this is right at the end, you see how it says PPS, and then it just goes right into canned spam. I'm just going to put a little line break or two right there, just to kind of keep a little separation. That's not to confuse the reader. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to click from draft over to ready, and I'm going to go back to sequence. Forgot to put a subject line in there. So for subject line, and this one, as you can see in your swipe file, that's below this video, I have first name as the subject line. So you don't want to just actually write first name. You want to use their merge field. So I'm going to click on merge, Contact fields most common is first name. Ta-da. So there's that. I'll put a little exclamation point, and then I'll copy it, and I'll edit this right here too. So it actually inserts their first name right there. Okay, so before we really start editing this thing, I want to make sure it didn't get weird when I copied and pasted into here. So I go back to sequence, and then I'm just going to click on it again, and let's see what happened. Ha! Yep, see, now check it out. I don't know why it does this, but sometimes Infusionsoft will put these little question marks here in the middle of it. So it just takes 1 second. You just, well, maybe a minute. I'm going to backspace out of there, and I'm also going to hit Shift and Enter to make a little line break just to format this text a little better. Backspace, Shift and Enter. I'm going to backspace by this weird question mark, Shift and Enter. Backspace by the weird question mark, Shift and Enter. Backspace by the weird question mark, Shift and Enter. And then backspace by the weird question mark, Shift and Enter. There we go. No idea why it does that. Total pain in the butt, but it took like 30 seconds to fix, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to sequence and then double click it again just to make sure that everything is cool and it looks all right. Good. Okay, so now we have some stuff to edit. Now, you don't have to use my templates here. I just wanted to provide them for you to make everything as easy and as fast as I can for this thing. So we've already got the pages built, right? So let's start with the subject line and the first line of text here. When these are two very important elements, your subject line and your first couple of characters up here, because this is what they see in their email account even before they open the email. They'll see, you know how it works, you in Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or whatever, you can see who it's from, you can see like the subject and the first line of text or whatever. So we want all of this to be appealing. So this subject, as just having their first name with an exclamation point, gets ridiculously high open rates. So we might as well get them while they're hot and get them opening and really get them interested, right? And you'll notice that the beginning of this email says, I just made this video for you that shows you how to do that. All this cool stuff. Now we're going to change this stuff in the brackets clearly, right? So if someone is looking at this in their email client before they open it, they're going to be able to see this text here and the subject line, and all that kind of teases them into wanting to open it more. So it's really important to remember that in your email marketing. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to change out this. So let's say we're doing the dating stuff, right? And we're using results in advance, and our first result they need to get is to how to go up and introduce themselves and approach a nice girl. So we would just say something like, how to beautiful women without, and what is it that they don't want to learn, they don't want to have to do, right? And in this case, I would assume it would be using cheesy pickup lines. Or being a douche, okay? I hold that kind of thing in very low regard, as you can imagine, especially as the father to 2 girls and 1 on the way, So high contact first name. I just made this video for you, and it shows you how to approach beautiful women without using cheesy pickup lines or being a douche. Now, something that has been shown time and time again to increase the click-through from an email to the page is to have a screenshot of the video, right? So how do we do that? So what I've done is I pulled up one of our pages that we created, and I waited in the video till it has some bullet points and stuff so that you can see something on the screen. I just want to take a little picture of this. Now, there are lots of apps that you can use to take pictures and screenshots with. In fact, there's some ways you can do it free that I never figured out, something like holding down the control and the command and the shift button and some other stuff. I'm sure you could Google that, but I like this little app called Skitch, S-K-I-T-C-H, and it is just delightful. So let's see, we'll let this little application load up here and we'll take a picture. So what I'm going to do is I've created I've opened a sketch, and I'm just going to click screen snap, and then you can just drag and drop on your screen. So I'm just going to drag this thing and just get a picture of this to show the video. Now here's what's cool about Sketch. Now, yeah, there's probably cooler ways to do this with fancier software or something, but as you can see, this is just a matter of seconds to create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it more appealing, and in Sketch you can select this little square button, and you can create like a colored border around your picture. So let's see here. I'll drag that around, make it a little bit bigger. Come on. Under the impression there would be no complicated engineering in today's video. There we are. Awesome. Looks good. That kind of makes it pop a little bit better in the email, don't you think? And so now what we're going to do is I'll name this thing video picture, and I will drag it to my desktop so we can upload it to Infusionsoft. And there it is. See, I just drug it to the desktop there. So now let's go back over here to Infusionsoft and make that happen, because whenever we have an image, we have to upload it from somewhere. That's why I took a picture of that and put it on my desktop. You can save it wherever you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that text, and then over here in good old Infusionsoft, I'm going to click on Insert. I'm going to say Image, and I'm going to say Add a new image. And my gosh, look at what did we call that thing again? I've already forgotten because I'm talking while we're making this thing. What was it again? Video something, I think. Video picture. Aha. Open. There we go. Now this guy's going to be pretty big, I think. Let's say, well, 175. Let's insert it and update it. And let's see. Nope, that actually worked out perfectly, didn't it? Okay. So now that's what that looks like in their email. But you know what we want to do as well? We want to make this a link. So what we're going to do is we are going to... Here it is. This is our milestone video number 1. Obviously, this is just a demo page because the video I made wasn't fancy. I just wanted to show you how to make the page, but you get it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to click this guy right here. So this is sort of selected, and you have the little squares. I'm just going to click on link, and I'm going to say go here. Paste. Now, this is critical, all right? We want, when they click this link, we want a tag to be applied. And the reason we want that tag to be applied is because of the way we created this campaign. As soon as they click the link, they're going to be taken out of the reminder series, and they're going to be placed into what? The Goodwill video series itself, right? So the way to do that is simple. You just click this little thing right here, and we select the tag, which was, if you remember, list class demo, clicked reminder series. And that's it. We say done, and then insert and update. So now what happens here is if they click this, that goes to the video page and their tag, they're taken out of the reminder sequence, and boom, they're placed into the actual Goodwill sequence that gives them videos 2, 3, 4. Pretty awesome. We're going to do the same thing right here. We're just going to create a little link right here. I'm going to say you can watch it here. Actually, I'll just hyperlink this whole thing just to be hog wild crazy. So we'll click on link. We'll say go right here. Whoops. Bing, it goes there. Same thing. List class demo, clicked reminder series, done, insert, update. And we need to do a little more editing. We're going to add your name right here. We're going to say Charlie Murphy, one of my all-time favorite comedians, because I'm legally changing my name to that because it's awesome. And then in the PS, if you have a secondary result in your video, you can use this PS. I'll also walk you through how to... What's another result that we could use to be relevant here? So what's the videos about how to approach beautiful women without using cheesy pickup lines or being a douche? Oh, how to approach you as well. The video is only, now you want to obviously put the right time here. We'll say 8 minutes long, but it's really helpful. Watch it here. We are going to hyperlink this guy. We're going to do the same thing we just did. Paste. We're going to say add that tag, please, brother. This class demo, clicked reminder series, done. Insert update, same thing we just did. And then notice this PPS. Now, depending on your level of interaction with people, or if you have staff to do this, you might want to have this here, because if someone writes you back and lets you know how much they enjoyed the video, you can begin a dialogue with that person and sell them something. You know, if they say, hey, I really enjoyed the video, thanks, or I have a question, you can answer that question and say, you know, it sounds like you would really be a great fit for this program. Here's the page for it. Why don't you go ahead and get it today? And that's a great way to pick up sales that most internet people never do because they're terrified of human interaction. It's your call, right? So you can have your reply to address come straight to an email that you read and answer the questions that people send in. Would you believe that Gerald, God bless her soul, actually reads every single reply that we get from our email broadcasts? pretty big job. She does a fine job of it as well. I'm forever grateful to her. So guess what we just did? We made email number 1. So we have it marked as ready, and boom, we are back to the campaign. So now what do we want to do? Well, we want to send them email number 2, but we don't want to do it immediately. We want to wait a day, and that's pretty simple. You just go over here to timers. You have 2 choices. We have date right here and delay. Only time you're ever going to use date is if you want it to be sent on a specific date and time, like Christmas morning at 7:53 a.m., which is usually my children are by that time taking their nap because they've been up since like 2 a.m. on Christmas. I'm sure all of you parents know how that is, right? So we always use the delay timer in these sort of evergreen campaigns. We just drag it here. We double click it to change its settings, and we want to say, let's wait at least 1 day, run any day, and let's send out this email at 10 a.m. Eastern, right? I like to email stuff at 10 in the morning Eastern time. And according to my friend Ryan Dice, that's a great time to email. He did some testing, and he got the best response at that time, and I never bothered to test on my own. I just adopted what he did, and it worked pretty good. So use that if you want to, but this is how to schedule your delay timer. Super easy. Just click on save, and then what are we going to do? We're just going to drag another email here, right? So now we just email, we call this one reminder 2, and guess what? When we edit this guy, we don't have to do all that pain in the butt formatting stuff because we've already created one. So we can actually say copy from campaign, and we will select the list class demo campaign, and we'll say copy from reminder number 1 email. Boom, copy this guy. We'll say use this. And now the image is already here, so we just change some text and we're good to go. We change the subject line. So if we go over here to the Goodwill reminder campaign, we'll notice that all we've done in this email number 2 is simply changed the subject line, right, to 4 first names. So all I have to do right now is just put the word 4 here. And the reason we're doing that is because they haven't opened and clicked yesterday's, right? If they had, they wouldn't be getting this because we automatically remove them as soon as they click this link. So we're just giving them another pass because, strangely, as insulting as it is, they don't sit by their computers and wait for our emails. I know. It's weird. Why would they be so crazy as not to just sit around night and day staring at the computer waiting for us to email them? Because you know our stuff is awesome, but they don't. So chances are they missed yesterday, so we're just giving them one more time. So I'll just go over here, select ready, and go back to sequence. So now what do we do? Well, we have a 3rd reminder. So how long do we want to wait? Well, as long as you want to. I'll just say a day. So we choose delay timer. We just drag it here. We double click it. We say, wait 1 day, run any day, run this at 10 a.m. Eastern if you want. Doesn't matter what time, it's up to you. Then we're going to drag another email over here, and we're going to double click it. Going to wait 700 years. There we go. We're going to say copy from campaign. We're going to select the campaign. You probably don't have as many in yours as mine yet, unless you're an old school user. I'll click on reminder 2. We'll say use this. Now, just because we copied this doesn't mean we can't edit it. We can change anything we want. This is just a shortcut that we like to use because you don't have to go and get rid of the pictures and get rid of the green background and all that crap, right? We can just kind of have it formatted normally. So let's look at the reminder campaign over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste the necessary text. So first thing I'll do is I'll change my subject line, put a little question mark here. So now it's saying, hey, Frank, what's going on? And I'm going to now put the right text right here. Paste, no problem. In fact, I'll bring this over here next to it so we can see it. And, oh, whoops, that's the wrong one. That's the Goodwill video emails. Hang on just a minute. Where'd it go? There it is. Ha, okay. So just making sure you got this. So I put that there. It's a new video I made that shows you how to do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so I will edit this out. So I'll just put a little line break here by hitting enter. I'll paste this right here. Now, whenever you cut and paste, what do you got to do? You remember? Let's go ahead. Go over here to ready, go back to sequence, and then go back to this email because why? What weird thing does Infusionsoft like to do to keep us on our toes? Right, it sometimes puts these dang question marks wherever you had a line break. So hit backspace, shift and enter to put a line break here. Hit backspace, the question mark, shift and enter to hit a line break there. That's all. So now what are we going to do? What was our result? Shows you how to approach beautiful women. Women without, and what was the stuff that sucks? Cheesy pickup lines. Or being a douche. Okay, there we go. And here we are. Now I have this line written twice, so I can just delete that one there. So now our work there is done, and we're gold, right? So go ahead and click back to sequence, and guess what? Our reminder sequence is built. So I'll just real quickly, for my own personal satisfaction, rename this to reminder email number 3, and we are good. So whenever you've completed a part of a campaign, like a sequence, you notice it's over here in draft. You want to just click it to ready. Go back to campaign, and you can tell that it's ready because it's green. If it's still in draft mode, it'll be like dark gray, like this one. So we've built this first part. That means when they opt in, they're immediately tagged, they immediately get email number 1, and then every day for 2 days they're getting email 2 and email 3. If they click the link in there, they're not going to get any more emails, and they'll start getting the Goodwill series. So now all we have to do is build out the Goodwill series. So let's go ahead and get that done. Now, the Goodwill series is just like the reminder sequence. The difference is we don't have to apply a tag because we have already applied the tag here, right? So, in fact, let me change this. If you remember, whenever they click the link in one of these, the little clicker tag is applied here. So whenever the clicker tag is applied here, it begins this sequence, right? The tag doesn't need to be applied twice. I just have created 2 little segments. Every segment must have a beginning and an end. See? So we don't need to do anything here. All we got to do is just put emails in here. And this is really a lot simpler because we've already done most of the work. In fact, this section of the video will be really quick. I'll go ahead and I'll call this one Goodwill 1, and then we'll just cut and paste into here. Now, because you've already seen me create these emails, I'm not going to make you watch me do it all again. I'll just point out that I've got your Goodwill video emails swipe file in here for you to look at if you want to use this to model after. It's probably pretty helpful. If you want to write your own, of course, I encourage that as well. Because we have already created one email, again, we don't have to do the formatting, which is a big old pain in the butt. Instead, we just copy the email format from our existing campaigns. I'm going to say use this. Now, this time we're going to have different pictures and some different text, so we'll just come over here and we'll say, well, first we'll fix the subject. So the subject right now is first name part 2. All right, and then if we go back to, oh, where did you go? Let me find my swipe file here. So if you go back to the swipe file, you'll notice that was the thing, and now we're just going to copy and paste here and edit some of this. So what we're really going to want to make sure we do here, lost my swipe file again. Pasted the wrong thing. Let's see, let's paste that one. There we go. What we really want to pay attention to here is we have the right picture and the right links. So when we're copying these from the first sequence there, that reminder sequence, all of these links are going to the same one video. Well, in this case, you need to make sure that there's 2 things that happen. Number 1, we want to add a new image. So you're just going to add the image from your video number 2, right? So you can upload that just like we did in the last video. I'll leave it here as is for now. But the other thing we want to do is we want to select this guy and we want to click on link and we want to change this tagging, right? So let's just say we're pasting a link here, and now because they're already tagged as having been a clicker, you'll notice that since we copied that email, it copied everything from the email, the tagging and everything. We don't need that tagging here, so all we have to do is simply click X here, there, insert update, and now the tag is gone. You can, if you want to, actually click it and tag them as having clicked video number 2. That way you can, if you want to, go back and build a little thing onto this and say, hey, you know what, if after 5 days everyone has clicked all 4 videos and they still haven't bought, I want to send them a special message and make them a special offer. We can do all that kind of stuff. But for now, let's just get this built. So what you want to do, only difference here is you just format and copy accordingly from your swipe file or start from scratch. And if you're doing this thing where you're copying the email from the previous emails in the campaign, make sure that you click that you double check your links and always make sure that they're going to the right one. So email number 1 is actually going to video number 2 because they clicked video number 1 to get in the sequence. Email number 2 is going to video number 3. And email number 3 is going to video number 4, right? So don't let that throw you off by any means. Other than that, pretty simple. So I'll go ahead and I'll just get this out of draft mode, and I'll show you how to get everything up and running. We want to pull it out of draft mode. And obviously, if you were to complete the whole thing, I'm just not going to make you watch me do that because it's redundant, you would have your email, your delay timer, and your email 2 and 3 over here as well. We go back to campaign, we set it up, so if they purchase, they're not getting these, right? So we're not going to bother them. So this guy's ready to rumble. We can go ahead and send some traffic here, and you've got a nice little Goodwill funnel set up, which is pretty sweet. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff we can do to add on to this. What I wanted to do right now in this module is just get you some action so that if you want to start running traffic now, if you have a list or whatever, you can start deploying this campaign and seeing some results. So before we finish, we always want to make sure in Infusionsoft you hit good old publish right there. That turns your campaign on and makes everything live. And after you do it, you can see no one's in our sequence yet because we just created it, etc. But after it's been published every day, you can come here and you can look, you can see how many people opted in, how many are in your reminder sequence, and you can even double click it and see how many people got email number 1 and how many are waiting, and all kinds of cool statistical OCD awesomeness, right? So you probably have some questions like, okay, well, this is pretty cool, but what happens if they don't buy over here? Or what happens if they don't click? Surely I got to send them something else. The answer is you are exactly right. So what I want to do is I want to show you that plus some ascension strategies in our next module. So I've given you a lot to chew on in this module, and I've deliberately chunked it down so we can just go ahead and get this sucker built. Next week, we're going to build on the momentum of what we've accomplished here this week, and we're going to really start turning up the heat on this sucker by ascending, by automated back-end campaigns, as well as other dynamic campaigns that we deploy to folks who don't buy or don't click or click multiple times, etc. There's all kinds of cool stuff we can do, and I'll show you how to do it next week. Till then, let's do good work, let's help some people, let's have some fun, and let's get paid. I'll see you soon.